The smallest country on Earth. The biggest influence in the room. How does that math work? You can walk it in 40 minutes, and it can move 1 billion souls. From bones beneath an altar to bonds in a briefcase, Vatican City wasn't born, it was engineered. The real journey? Let's see how cash made a country. Vatican City, the seat of Catholic power, the Pope's address, and a vault of history sealed inside a sovereign courtyard. It wasn't born of conquest, it was negotiated with signatures, cash, and a promise. How do signatures turn marble into borders? Short answer, Mussolini. Longer answer, too long. So here's the medium answer. For a millennium, the popes ruled the Papal States, a real country covering a big chunk of Italy. Along the way, they built St. Peter's, the largest church on earth, and walled the Vatican Hill. Fun fact, the basilica literally sits over a cemetery. Yes, a church built on bones. File that under powerful symbolism. Then, 19th century Italy shows up and says, Rome would make a great capital. Boom. Annexation. The Papal States vanish. The Pope retreats behind the Vatican walls, refuses to recognize Italy, and calls himself a prisoner in the Vatican. Awkward family dinner. For decades, Italy tries a patchwork law. The popes refuse. Elections happen outside. Inside, the balcony stays empty. Years become 60. 5 popes later, the stalemate is still a stalemate. Enter Benito Mussolini, a man who hates loose ends. He's tired of the Pope telling Italian Catholics he's a captive. So he offers a trade. Italy gives the Vatican sovereignty and pays a very real apology in cash and bonds. In return, the Pope recognizes Italy and promises to stay out of politics and wars. That's the Lateran Pax, 1929. Pen, seal, country. The check? 750 million lire in cash and 1 billion in 5% bonds. The world's smallest state appears about 109 acres, with a voice much bigger than its borders. From there, Vatican City does all the country things. It has a government, it makes laws, it has police, a tiny jail, a bank, its own stamps, license plates, and the internet's coolest microdomain, .via. Also the world's worst parking. Prove me wrong. But Vatican City is not a normal country. To understand it, you need 2 names and 1 brain twist: the Pope and the Holy See, and the fact that they are separate yet share a body. The Pope is the Bishop of Rome. Bishops have thrones, the Pope's throne has a special name, the Holy See. Popes come and go. The Holy See is the institution that stays, like a company that never closes. Mussolini's deal technically gave the land to the Holy See, which, believe it or not, is a recognized legal person in international law. Think of the Holy See as Catholic Church, Inc., and the Pope is both CEO and chairman. Now add twist number 2. Vatican City is an absolute monarchy, but an elective one. The same human is both Pope, head of the Holy See, and sovereign of Vatican City, the king, basically. The result? The world's only elected non-hereditary absolute monarchy. He can sign a doctrine in the morning and a law after lunch. Why isn't the Vatican in the European Union? Because absolute monarchies and EU membership don't mix. Democracy required. Hard pass. More brain twist. At the United Nations, it's the Holy See that holds the seat as a non-member observer. Not Vatican City. Diplomats go out under the church's banner. The microstate stays mostly home, doing microstate things. Citizenship? Not by birthplace, not even by neighborhood. Vatican citizenship is by job. You serve the Pope, you're in. You stop serving, you're out. No maternity wards, no baby boom. Just a few hundred people, most of them clergy, Swiss guards, and officials. It's less a country with a workforce than a workforce with a country. And while we're here, let's talk symbols, because the Vatican doesn't whisper its story. It carves it in stone. In the square stands an Egyptian obelisk dragged to Rome 2,000 years ago, now crowned with a cross and lined up with mathematical precision to the basilica. Pagan stone, Christian top, geometry as theology. The base carries a warning to the dark, turning a relic into a sentinel. The bronze globe that once sat on its summit? Older rumors swore it held Caesar's ashes. They opened it, empty. The myth evaporated, the symbol stayed. Under the altar lies the old Roman necropolis, streets of tombs, doorways for the dead. A modest brick shrine once guided early pilgrims like a map pin. On a nearby wall, some scholars read a scratched Greek murmur. Peter is here? Maybe, maybe not. What matters is the choreography: altar, shrine, bones. The higher you stand, the more layers of memory stand under you. Around the hill run the Leonine walls, 9th century teeth raised after a seaborne raid hit the shrines outside Old Rome's belt. Towers, battlements, gates. For the first time, the hill reads like a city inside a city. Centuries before treaties, sovereignty gets rehearsed in masonry. Now jump to 1870. Cannons crack the Aurelian Wall at Porta Pia. Italian troops pour through. The Papal States vanish. The New Italy shouts "Capital." The Pope answers with silence. Windows stay dark. The balcony stays empty. A warning goes out to the faithful. Politics is a trap. Stay back. And so the papacy broadcasts independence by locking itself in. The empty balcony becomes a megaphone. The quiet becomes pressure. Decades pass. The stalemate freezes like old wax until 1929 snaps it. Money for borders. Recognition for recognition. It's not a miracle of paperwork. It's a deal. What happens next is less pious than practical. The windfall doesn't nap. A hard-nerved financier is tasked to grow it. Indemnity turns into a portfolio. Investments spread. Assets multiply. The church still says Mass. It also watches markets. Call it heresy if you want. It's also math. And while the balance sheet hardens, the stage gets redesigned. In the 20th century, a grand, straight avenue is cut to frame the dome perfectly. New facades march in step. Lampposts set the tempo. The view is a single command. Look at the colonnades, then the dome, then the cross. Harmony for the camera, dust for the neighbors. Old lanes vanish so the new picture can shine. Public relations in stone. Let's zoom back to the structure of power because this is where most people get tangled. Think of two layers. Layer 1, the Holy See, the global legal personality of the Catholic Church. It signs treaties, posts ambassadors, sits at the UN, and runs the worldwide network. Layer 2, Vatican City-State, the physical micro-country built in 1929 to guarantee the Holy See's independence. Same person at the top. Two roles, one office. On Monday morning, he's the pastor. Monday afternoon, he's the sovereign. If that sounds confusing, congratulations. You just understood why diplomats learn this on day one. That split explains the weirdness you notice at street level. The Swiss Guard and Renaissance stripes? That's state security for the sovereign. The rows of officials in black? That's the church's bureaucracy for a global flock. The postage stamps and coins? State symbols? The worldwide nunciatures and concordates? Holy See business. Two realities, one address. It also explains why the Vatican can be tiny and still matter. Countries project power with land, people, and guns. The Holy See projects power with belief, law, and story. Land, one neighborhood. People, a few hundred. Guns, mostly halberds and ceremonial swords. Influence, planet-sized. And yet the ground rules stay strange by design. Citizenship expires with your job. Family members can be added and then subtracted when the contract ends. Property ownership? Almost none of the normal market churn you see elsewhere. Elections? Not for the public. The only election that matters takes place under a frescoed ceiling, with ballots burned in a stove, sending the whole world a puff of smoke. Even the numbers feel engineered. 109 acres, 40 minutes on foot, one square line to perfection from river to dome. Plenty of countries brag about size. The Vatican brags about alignment. So what is Vatican City, really? A country? Yes. A neighborhood, sure. But most of all, a stage built to guarantee the independence of an institution that existed long before modern passports, and plans to exist long after. Bones and bonds. Walls and optics. Holiness and hard cash. The Holy See runs the network. Vatican City houses the switchboard. The symbols sell the signal. That's the medium answer. Short answer again. Mussolini. Long answer. Still too long. If this untangled a knot you've carried since school, you know what to do. Subscribe. Tell me in the comments what shocked you most. The money, the monarchy, or the passports. And share this with a friend who thinks the Vatican is just a museum with better lighting. See you in the next video.